This is a CBS News special report. I'm Tony DeCopel in New York. We are breaking in to tell you that President Biden has narrowed his list of potential Supreme Court nominees to one. He will make a historic nomination to replace Justice Stephen Breyer on the Supreme Court with Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, currently on the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals. The president is expected to make it official in a White House announcement shortly. If she is confirmed by the Senate, Jackson will be the first black woman ever to serve on the Supreme Court. She comes to the precipice of the court from South Florida by way of Harvard and then Harvard again for law school. For more on this pick, let's go now to Nancy Cordes at the White House, where we do expect to hear from the president soon. Nancy, what more do we know about how this decision came to be?
Well, we know, Tony, that the president has already reached out to Ketanji Brown Jackson by phone to offer her the position, and she has accepted. And truth be told, she has been the front runner all along. She is 51 years old. She is a former law clerk to the man who she will be replacing, Justice Stephen Breyer. She is also, crucially, a former public defender. I believe the first former public defender to be nominated to the U.S. Supreme Court. She would be the first Supreme Court justice to be a former public defender if she is confirmed. And that is notable because you want to know who else is a former public defender? President Biden. It is an experience that he talks about with fondness, with reverence, talks about how important it is to serve in that capacity for people who cannot afford private counsel. And now he has chosen someone who followed in those footsteps, but who also has been a judge, has worked in private practice, and who, according to many people who know her well, has a superior intellect and has been on a rocket ship towards a position like this since college.
Yeah, and on a lighter note, Nancy, she also reportedly, as a drama student at Harvard undergrad, once partnered in a scene with Matt Damon. I'm hoping that comes up in confirmation. I don't think it will, however. What will likely come up is her work as a public defender, as you point out, because one of the roles she played as a public defender was to take on at least one case of a prisoner in Guantanamo Bay, controversial cases all. What more do you expect from this confirmation process? Where could the sticking points be potentially?
Sure. Well, I think anyone who has served as a lawyer, who has served as a judge, is going to be asked about specific cases that they have tried or that they have ruled on. So that is something that's to be expected. But she has been through this rigor once before, quite recently, when she was nominated by President Biden to serve on the U.S. District Court here in D.C. just last year. And she passed her confirmation process with flying colors, even picking up 3 Republican votes. So this is something that she is already prepared for in a way, and she has a very large cheering squad around her, fellow lawyers, friends, family, certainly many lawmakers who already know her, who are going to be working with her to help her through this process.
And so we'll see if she'll get the votes from Republicans in the Senate. Let's turn now to senior White House and political correspondent Ed O'Keefe. Ed, how did we get here? What happened during the 2020 election? What happened in the last administration that has led us to this pick, you think?
Well, part of the reason why the White House was so eager to announce this by today is tonight is exactly 2 years to the night that the president, as a candidate, vowed to nominate a black woman to the Supreme Court. It happened during the CBS debate in South Carolina. The night before, he had been at a reception hosted by the Congressional Black Caucus, and he was pulled aside by Congressman Jim Clyburn, Benny Thompson of Mississippi, and Marcia Fudge of Ohio. They had a conversation in a back room about the state of play, about what it could take for him to win the South Carolina primary and revive his campaign. And depending on who you talk to, in essence, Jim Clyburn said to him, one thing you can do is promise to appoint a black woman to the Supreme Court. Do it in the debate. During that debate, first half of the debate, Biden had said nothing about it. Jim Clyburn went backstage to find him and said, no matter what the next answer is, just mention it. mention that you'll nominate a black woman to the Supreme Court. The crowd cheered when he did it. Clyburn endorsed him a few days later. Things turned around, and Joe Biden is now president. So this is the fulfillment of a campaign pledge, not only to a key political ally, but to a big voting bloc of the Democratic Party. Black women have been the most loyal demographic to the Democratic Party since the 1970s. And there's been an acknowledgement, as the president, his aides, and others have discussed, that it's a shame that no black woman has ever served on the high court. He makes that campaign pledge whole today. He helps, address this inequity that many believe has existed, and Ketanji Brown Jackson will replace Stephen Breyer. And again, we have to remember, we've acknowledged this before, Joe Biden has essentially been involved in putting virtually hundreds of federal judges and almost the entire Supreme Court before he was in vice president on the court. This is somebody who knows the issue well because he chaired the Senate Judiciary Committee, and he's been thinking about this, we know, for quite some time, since the transition at least, about who he'd put on there, which is why when Ketanji Brown Jackson's name emerged, it was no surprise that she ultimately probably would be the pick, as we expect to learn later today.
Historic pick would be historic confirmation. Ketanji Brown Jackson, her parents grew up in primarily segregated schools in the South. They attended historically black colleges. When she told her high school guidance counselor she wanted to go to Harvard, the advice was maybe don't set your sights so high. Well, she's making it on the precipice of the highest court in the land. Ed, Nancy, thank you very much. Coverage of this Supreme Court nomination will continue on the CBS News streaming network, on your local news, and tonight on the CBS Evening News with Norah O'Donnell. Many of you will now return to CBS Mornings. This has been a CBS News special report. I'm Tony DeCopel with Adriana Diaz and Nate Burleson, CBS News, New York.
From the CBS Broadcast Center in Los Angeles, this is CBS 2 News This Morning at 6.
Good morning. Today is Friday, February 25th. Welcome to CBS 2 News This Morning at 6 and streaming on CBS News Los Angeles. We just got out of a special report. I'm Suzanne Marquez.
DeMarco Morgan, Ketanji Brown Jackson, the judge there, now being nominated for the Supreme Court. That is major, major news and historic in itself.
Absolutely historic. President Barack Obama had considered her as a choice to replace Antonin Scalia. And then hearing the story about how then Joe Biden as a presidential nominee was talked about behind the scenes, like you need to mention.
Yeah, with Clyburn, Fudge, and Benny Thompson there. And you know what? They told him you got to make the promise. And he made the promise, and look at where we are today.
Wow.
All right, there's a lot going on in your world today. Here's a look at your Socal Eye Opener.
A rising death toll and a full-scale invasion. We're going to break down what happened in Ukraine while you were sleeping.
And Socal is home to thousands of people with ties in Russia and Ukraine. How they are reacting to the invasion.
The whole mask rule is, to me, a little crazy because you don't know whether to put it on or take it off.
A major change just took effect in LA County within the past few hours. Inside the new mask changes you need to know before heading out the door this morning.
But first, a deadly crash is impacting traffic right now in Elysian Park. This is breaking news. A SIG alert is in effect on the northbound 110 near Stadium Way. You can see that vehicle there all banged up. The CHP says one person died when a driver lost control around 2 o'clock this morning. Another person had to be rushed to the hospital and is in critical condition. We expect lanes to start clearing in the next few minutes, but right now that's impacting your drive times. And for your drive times, let's get you right now outside for a look at those numbers there. If you're going to be headed outside right now, the Riverside Freeway, the 91, the westbound lanes, 15 to the 55, it's going to take you 20 minutes. Ontario Freeway, the 15 northbound lanes, 91 to the 10, you're looking at a 12-minute commute. And now let's go outside for a live look from our Caltrans camera. This is the 5 freeway at Slauson Avenue in Commerce. Let's toss now to Amber Lee for a look at your forecast. It's been a chilly time, a chilly morning, but
I know.
There is hope.
There is hope. There is light.
There is light.
Or the sun now has come up. So, so that's our big light. But let's watch the sunrise together. This is a shot looking over toward the mountains. This is Santa Ana right now, dealing with some chilly temperatures, 43 degrees. It is Friday, so I have your cycling forecast. If you plan on riding this morning or any time today, it's going to be a little cooler than normal. We do have a frost advisory advisory for the San Fernando Valley until about 9 a.m. And then we have that freeze warning for the Ojai Valley and the Inland Empire until about 8 a.m. And that's because overnight they saw temperatures dipping down into below freezing in the upper 20s. But take a look. Our highs are going to gradually start to warm up. We're getting closer to where we should be this time of year. Lots of sunshine. The winds pick back up once we head into tomorrow, and that's really going to boost our temperatures up. And we're talking the return of 70-degree weather. I will break down the weekend forecast for you. Plus, I have another dog forecast. Back to you guys.
All right.
Got your phone handy? Of course you do. Scan this right here. Download the Cbsla app. And just like that, you're connected to all the best local news and videos. Now, if only everything were this easy.